there is a genuinely wild story coming out of the NBA.
It really is something.
Get this. The New York Knicks. They fired head coach Tom Thibodeau.
Yeah, just days, literally days, after their deepest playoff run in, what, a quarter century?
It feels like it came out of absolutely nowhere for a lot of people watching, especially after that season.
Right, so we're looking at stuff from Newsweek, CBS Sports, Sporting News, FOX Sports, even some interesting Reddit threads.
Plus some specifics on the money side from PFSN and Basketball Reference for context.
Exactly. So the mission here, I guess, is to really unpack this. It's a genuinely shocking turn of events.
Why did this happen now? What are the sources telling us about, the success he had, which was huge?
Undeniable success.
But also the reasons the front office decided, okay, time for a change right now.
Well, Woj and Shams reported it first, naturally, and the line was the Knicks felt they needed a new voice.
A new voice to get over the hump, right?
Yeah.
To actually compete for a championship.
Yeah, and Leon Rose, the team president, kind of echoed that. He said their singular focus on winning a championship was the driver.
Even while saying, look, Thibs had tremendous success.
And you really can't argue with that success looking at the sources.
Yeah.
I mean, 5 seasons, playoffs 4 times.
Back-to-back 50-win seasons. First time since the Ewing era, the 90s.
And this year, the Eastern Conference Finals. First time in 25 years. His record, 226 and 174. Very strong.
Plus, you had players like Jalen Brunson publicly backing him. It's clear he rebuilt that team, raised the floor massively.
Absolutely. He brought legitimacy back. But,
right.
And this is where it gets fascinating, looking through the reports.
Yeah.
Despite all that success, that foundation, there were these persistent kind of underlying criticisms of his style. And it seems like the front office just decided this is a ceiling. We can't break through this way.
And a big point, like in FOX Sports piece, backed up by scouts, they talked to, it's the minutes, right?
Yeah.
The relentless minutes and short rotations.
Right, the classic Thibs method. We saw it plain as day this season.
Yeah.
Brunson, Hart, DiVincenzo, just logging insane minutes.
Especially in the playoffs. I mean, there were games Hart barely sat down.
Yeah. And even in blowouts, sometimes the starters stayed in way longer than you'd expect.
And that connects directly to what some sources raise about, well, player fatigue and that massive injury wave.
Oh, man, the injuries. Just look at the list. By the end of that Pacers series, Randall, OG Anunoby, Mitchell Robinson, Bogdanovich, even Hart was playing through something major.
It was brutal. Now, one source quotes a GM saying, okay, the medical data doesn't prove high minutes alone cause injuries.
Sure, you can't draw a straight line every time.
But they admit it definitely increases the risk. And the optics for Thibs definitely look bad, is the quote.
Yeah, it's hard to ignore that pattern. Another thing that keeps coming up is the offense. Adjustments, or maybe lack thereof, and developing the bench.
Okay, yeah, the CBS article pointed that out, how the starters kind of struggled early against the Pacers defense.
Right, and the adjustments, like using Shamat or DeLon Wright more, didn't really happen until they were already down 0-2.
And you saw some Reddit comments just bluntly calling the late-game offense ISO and inshallah. Like, just give it to Brunson and hope.
Feels rigid, maybe. Lacking a counterpunch sometimes.
Yeah, that seems to be the critique. And Sporting News had that interesting point about Karl-Anthony Towns.
Oh, right, the parallel. Played for Thibs in Minnesota, now in New York. Both times, Thibs gets fired after a playoff run where KT was key, but they fell short.
And some observers, like a Reddit user, felt Thibs maybe struggled to, quote, know how to use KT. That KT looks sloppy when tired.
Which, ties back to the minutes thing again. Maybe not resting guys enough. It's cited as an example of that perceived rigidity.
And then there's the money. We can't ignore that. PFSN reported it.
The contract, yeah.
Just last summer, July 2024, Thibs signs a new 3-year, $30 million extension. Goes through 2028.
And now, barely into it, they're paying a big chunk of that just for him to not coach. A buyout.
So making this move right after their best season in decades and eating that money, it signals a really forceful pivot, doesn't it?
Absolutely. The front office is basically saying, thanks for the rebuild, but your method isn't the championship method.
Yeah.
And they're willing to pay up to find a different approach, like, immediately.
The search for coach number 32 is on.
Indeed. So it leaves you with this big question, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. You look at the undeniable progress, the ECF run, first time in 25 years. Is firing Thibs now a necessary, maybe ruthless, but necessary step towards actually winning a title?
Or Do you look at how far they came, how much they improved, and the fact they're paying millions on a new contract? And does it feel kind of impatient?
Like maybe overlooking the foundation that was just built just
Yeah.
because they're desperate to win now.
Right. What is this whole situation, the success, the specific criticisms, the big buyout, what does it tell you, the listener, about just how intense the pressure is to win and win big in today's NBA?